good, y'all? I'm here with another video. I'm sorry. I've been kind of in a wrestling mood these past couple videos, last couple weeks. Money in the Bank was yesterday or 2 days ago. So I literally just been I don't know, I've just been wanting to do wrestling content. I will do other content too, but I got 2 videos for y'all today. I got this video by WreslingsPremier talking about Money in the Bank yesterday. And I got another Parts Fun On video, and you'll see that when it comes out. But yeah, I'm gonna start doing other stuff too. But I just been kind of in a wrestling mood right now. So, but yeah, let's get into the video.
A WWE pay-per-view in England. It had been a while since England in general has ever had a WWE pay-per-view. The last time they actually had one was, I believe, Insurrection in 2003. We've seen Cardiff, Wales get a pay-per-view, but it's almost strange how London or none of the big cities like Manchester, Newcastle, Birmingham, none of these cities actually had a WWE pay-per-view. They had the regular shows though, but pay-per-view is always better. But WWE finally decided, you know what? Let's give them Money in the Bank. And in the
not trying to pause that much, but I feel like WWE needs to they need to start putting more pay-per-views overseas, because it will grow its audience first of all, and then it will just it will have other crowds show how they should be if they at the pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? Have them feed off that energy, and next time they go to a pay-per-view where it's near them, then they'll be more energetic or something like that, you know, because Americans, man, we're so used to having WWE events every week that once we get there, we just you know, whatever, you know, sometimes. But these people don't get to see us, see WWE wrestlers as much. So they cherish it. So I feel like more fans should be like that. Not saying that if the match is trash, you should be cheering, but y'all get what I'm saying. Just be more vocal.
last 2 days, they made it clear that any show that they have that relates to WWE, they will go insane for. Not to mention one of the big pay-per-views of the year, Money in the Bank. So I don't want to waste time. Let's get into it. Okay, the first match is the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. As always, you can't go wrong with a ladder match involving the likes of Shinsuke Nakamura and Ricochet. The spots didn't hit as hard as previous years, barring the final spot, of course. But one thing to note is that LA Knight was extremely popular. This man, anywhere he goes now, he'll get a reaction. Ricochet has always made good use of his time, 450s, going all out. Butch was brutal and at times a risk taker, and Logan Paul was the most hated. Nobody liked this man. He was getting thrown around, disrespected, but when he went on offense, he was pretty exciting. Everyone put in work. It's a pretty good match, but action-wise, it doesn't stand out amongst the best Money in the Bank matches in my opinion. LA Knight was the one. It was almost destined to be him as the victor. He had momentum. The crowd loved him, and that final sequence with Logan and Ricochet flying through a table made me believe. And by the way, that spot was very rough. They almost messed it up because it's hard to properly balance on the ropes. But they managed to go through the table. So at this point, LA's going to win it, because anyone that tries to touch him, he knocks them down, pushes them to the outside. But then Damian Priest dropped him and won the briefcase. It was almost unexpected. Priest, though, was my second pick. He has more to offer than a lot of the other guys. And the only reason why I prefer Priest is simply due to the fact that he has a story tied in. As good as LA Knight has been recently, there's been a Money in the Bank curse in the last couple of years, and you can't really trust them to go all out with him as Mr. Money in the Bank.
The more I think about it, the more I realize, him winning Money in the Bank isn't that bad. Well, him not winning Money in the Bank isn't that bad. I feel like Priest needed it more because LA Knight is so over. I feel like if you have LA Knight in a feud with Austin Theory, because to be honest with you, Austin Theory isn't doing anything with that U.S. title. His U.S. title reign isn't memorable at all. He hasn't really done anything. He faced Seth and Bobby 50 times already. Then after that, when he went to SmackDown, they's done nothing with him. The thing with Sheamus isn't just hidden; it's not hidden. So they might as well just have him a feud with LA Knight or something like that, and have LA Knight beat him, because I feel like Theory has potential, but they're not using it in the right way. I don't know. But yeah, Damian Priest. When I saw him win the title, when I saw him win the case, I was like, okay, so is Balor going to win, and they're gonna make it seem like, oh, I'm not gonna cash in on you, and then he does. Well, we'll see.
It's probably best if he goes after the U.S. title, takes it from Austin Theory, who's had one of the worst title reigns in recent years. As for Damian Priest, the Judgment Day storyline will give him a lot of options. He could turn face, he could cash in later and reclaim the group, say he's the leader. There's a lot of stuff they could do with Damian Priest as Mr. Money in the Bank. It's just I feel like if LA Knight actually won this match, they wouldn't book them well. The next match was for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler defended the gold against Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. Very TV-esque match here. The heels isolated Morgan in her ankle. She was almost taken out, but at a moment's notice, I don't even know why the hell this happened. It was so random.
No one knows.
Shayna Baszler randomly assaulted Ronda, and this was supposed to be a heel turn, but it failed because the fans were cheering. They loved seeing Ronda take a beating. One of their proudest moments on the entire show. And this led to Liv and Raquel winning. I thought it was going to go the other way with Raquel turning on Liv, destroying her, but they ended up doing one of the most random heel turns or attacks or whatever, betrayals we've seen.
I think they should just make Shayna a face. I don't know if Shayna's ever been a face, but I think they should just do it because Ronda Rousey has been face and heel like multiple times. So they might as well just go a different route with Shayna, have Ronda stay heel, have them fight, do whatever, and go by their way.
In a while. Like, I haven't seen this in a long-ass time where one of the reigning champions assaulted one of their partners and left the match. It just doesn't happen that often. Now, I'm kind of confused as to why they ended the tag team because they kind of give the women's division some sort of legitimacy. I know Ronda Rousey is not the most loved around here, but her star element, even though it's dwindled recently, is much bigger than a bunch of others.
Sucks.
But they decided to do it, because Shayna and Ronda never had an actual match together. With another title change, it really makes me care less about the titles. And to be honest, I didn't really care much about it anyways because WWE's not investing attention and value to it. So why should I? The next match is for the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther defended the gold against Matt Riddle. Riddle came into this wounded, and that was the story of the match. He never got out of the second gear, and Gunther was like a fish smelling blood. The challenger sold everything well. He made Gunther look like this enormous challenge that's almost impossible to overcome, and that foot was becoming a problem. The champion was relentless. He was going all out, destroying that foot. He even chopped it at one point, and eventually Riddle gave up. It was academic. I think we all had an idea that Riddle wouldn't win this thing.
Here's the thing that I like about Walter. I'm sorry I keep pausing, but I just have so many thoughts about it. The thing that I like about Walter is he's so dominant that when he fights, like when he wrestles in matches, he doesn't necessarily have to do a powerbomb or a lariat to show that it's the end of the match. He beat that man with a leg lock. He beat that man with an ankle lock, a leg lock of some sort, and he won the match. Usually with wrestlers, they do their finisher, that's the end of the match. He literally does different moves to finish his matches, and he's more versatile, and it shows how dominant he could be without just using his main move. I don't know, it's just something different.
Wasn't even close to winning it here. Decent match. I wouldn't say it's a notable Gunther match because his matches are much, much, much intense. Riddle's booked to be destroyed, basically. It's very different to the Gunther matches we've gotten recently on pay-per-view. All of a sudden, Drew McIntyre returned. This guy had disappeared. People are like, oh, he's probably going to leave. But he proves them wrong here. Comes out with all the hype. The crowd goes insane. They love seeing him. And dropped Gunther with a Claymore, signaling his intentions for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, this is the guy that can have beat Gunther because McIntyre's established. He's a big guy. He's a former champion. He main evented WrestleMania. And with all these elements, he's probably the best pick in my personal opinion. I think Drew, at this moment in time, is the best option. There's, of course, Sheamus, but if they're going with Drew, I don't mind it. Or they could even have Gunther win and establish himself as an even more dominant champion by beating a former WWE champion. We already beat him at WrestleMania, but this is a singles match, so it's different. The next match was between Cody Rhodes and Dominic Mysterio. A random one just to get Cody on the card to build some momentum for SummerSlam. Dom was, as usual, the embarrassing heel. He relied a lot on Rhea, but accomplished nothing himself. Cody was extremely popular. The whoa during his theme song, during his entrance, was probably the loudest ever, and that's saying something. Like, these English fans, the UK fans, we're talking England, Scotland, Wales, all these guys, they go the hardest. These guys live for these events. The match was a regular Raw match. Not much to talk about.
I was for the
Dom had some tactics, but he was no match for the American Nightmare.
Regular.
Wrapped him up like that. Showed that he wasn't as injured as Dom thought he was. And won the match. John Cena made a random ass appearance, and the crowd went insane. Nobody even considered this, yet it happened. The element of surprise is still alive, which is nice to see in the year of 2023. It's cool. Plus, even if they were to report anything about it, Twitter's broken, so I probably wouldn't have seen it myself. Cena came out to hype the London crowd. He talked about a potential WrestleMania in England, and it's clear that this is all the fans wanted. It's one of the most sought-after things. Cena made it clear he wasn't here to wrestle, but to give back to the fans. Grayson Waller interrupts, belittles Cena, and trashes England, saying Australia is more deserving of a WrestleMania. And the heat this guy was receiving was amazing. This guy knows how to get the fans to hate him. From his wardrobe to his expressions to the way he talks, everything about him. After the champ disrespected him, he attacks and it backfires, leading to the AA. But yes, it's cool seeing John Cena, of course. I kind of hope he comes back for SummerSlam. I think it would be big, but it doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon. Otherwise, they probably would have used this event as something to build up for SummerSlam. The next match is the women's Money in the...
I feel like that segment was just a little too long. It wasn't terrible. It was just a little too long. Like, it was repeating the same things. It was just like, they could have wrapped it up a little faster. But I don't mind seeing John Cena. I think the good part about that is a lot of the entrance music songs that came out, the fans were singing the songs word by word. So you heard them singing My Time Is Now, and, well, I'll get into it later. But yeah, they were singing a lot of the songs.
Bank ladder match. This one was much more urgent and fiery than the men's one, and this was mostly because of the tag team elements. Io and Bayley, Trish and Zoe Stark. The Trish and Becky story dominated here. They had so much hatred for each other, and it went well. You can feel how badly these two wanted the story to work. The spots initially didn't look rough, but that would quickly change. Io confidently did a moonsault from the top of the ladder, a code red from Zelina on top of the ladder, and a Uranagi on a ladder from Becky. It was very story-driven, with Trish and Becky's animosity reaching a boiling point and Bayley taking advantage of her friend Io Sky. It's much better than the previous women's ladder matches, from the action to the star power, and Io winning was kind of doubtful. You know, I kind of doubted it during the match, not beforehand, during the match. But once it happened, it was a cool moment, especially the handcuff thing, which was pretty creative. You know, we've seen handcuffs in ladder matches before, but this one was different. Io Sky's Miss Money in the Bank brings a big possibility of her feuding with Asuka, but all of this is irrelevant now. You might be complaining about the Money in the Bank holders being underwhelming a couple of months from now, but she deserves it, and let's just enjoy it for today. One of the problems I had with the other women's ladder matches is that even though it was for the Money in the Bank, it didn't feel as valued as much as it should have been. I felt like they did a good job here with that one. The next match is the World Heavy...
The only thing I really hope with the Io Money in the Bank situation, have her hold the Money in the Bank for some time. Don't have her just cash in like this. Like, just let it sink in. Let her talk and have her little feud with Bayley. And then let her think about who she wants to cash in on. Tease it. Don't just have her cash in on Monday Night Raw the next night. Like, it's not that serious. It's like, y'all don't have to instantly do those things with women Money in the Bank winners. Like, just let them relax like the men do.
Championship. Seth Rollins defends the gold against Finn Balor. Finn's mission since being taken out in 2016 was to reclaim his gold. He's gone through a lot to get to this very moment, and it just so happened to be Seth Rollins holding the gold this time around. He wanted to take him out during the build of this feud, jumping him, and his ribs were injured during the match. This match's result was almost out of question, and the only thing that gave Finn a chance is the Damian Priest element. The action was decent stuff. Balor was going after Rollins' ribs, his midsection, but I kind of had too much hopes for this match, especially because their SummerSlam match was pretty good, and here it lacked a bit. The pacing of the match had you believing that they were on an upward trajectory to a memorable match, but when Damian Priest came in, that ended everything. Balor got distracted for a moment, worried about him cashing in, leading to Rollins capitalizing and retaining the title. This all stems from Priest's match, with Rollins ending with Balor costing him accidentally, so it looks like they're moving with the Judgment Day splitting. There's a few possibilities to go with this one. Balor is the heel and Priest as the face, or vice versa. As for Rollins, he needs an opponent for SummerSlam. Maybe somebody from St. Louis, a man that won the very same title as SummerSlam. If Randy Orton's ready, he could be the guy, but I'm not even sure where they could go because Cody and Brock are tied up. Maybe they could add them to the match, but I just don't see that happening. So if Randy Orton's ready, I think he could be the guy to face him. And the main event, the Bloodline.
Damn, I just thought about that. Now that Finn is, now that Finn story is done, as far as we think, he was kind of like one of the top heels on the brand. So who else would they have him fight? I mean, yeah, right. Not even just heel. Who are they gonna have him fight? I guess Randy, yeah. Cause, or yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Unless you try to like have a tournament for the more contenders match, and then have him fight Nakamura at SummerSlam or something like that. Or, yeah, I don't know.
Civil War. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa face to Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, the biggest story in WWE right now. No story holds a candle to the Bloodline saga that spans over 2 years. Recently, we've seen the Usos make plenty of mistakes to the dismay of Roman Reigns, a man who's losing trust. Jay knows what Roman is capable of firsthand, and after seeing his brother get taken out, wanted to make things right. And that's what he did by turning on the Tribal Chief. Their brother made no doubts about his allegiance to Roman Reigns. As to the match itself, the match was regular action. Roman's matches usually have this very slow pace to set things together and bring you in with the storytelling. This was the same thing, except unlike a bunch of his matches, facing the Usos made things a lot more fresh. Early on, Roman had his ways with the brothers. They have main event experience, but none like the Tribal Chief himself. It wasn't anything notable. It slowly heated up to the point where the crowd was all in on the Usos, and the shenanigans, the cliches involved in Roman's matches we're all here to see, except they didn't end the match. That's the big difference here. Ref down, Superman punch and spear, Jay was kicking out, even low blowing him in the middle of the ring. Solo was getting more aggressive. They hit a Samoan spike and spear combo, stacked them up, but still, it wasn't enough. His Solo went to the well one too many times, and in the ring, the Usos created magic. There was a high level of excitement in London. What we once thought would never happen was slowly happening. And after the super kicks and the splash, Jey Uso pinned Roman Reigns. Writing it down, it doesn't seem as good as I make it out to be, but I assure you that it was an exciting watch. What made it so good was the Usos' booking. They made use of their tag team experience to take down Roman Reigns, who, as good as he was in storyline, wasn't well versed in the tag team game like them. It also made the Tribal Chief more vulnerable and his future matches more interesting, because as we saw here, they booked him to be almost hopeless without Jimmy and most importantly Jay by his side. So as one of you guys said on Twitter, he's about to become 96 Pac, in the sense that he can't really trust anybody. Maybe he turns on Solo just on the merit of him potentially doing it first, going after Paul Heyman, destroying Rikishi. Only time will tell how Roman Reigns' story will go, but one thing for certain is that we're in the final chapter of it. It just has to be, because without the Usos and without Solo eventually perhaps, that's it. His entire empire crumbles. The Roman Empire, which was what it was once known as, is going to collapse. All right, that's Money in the Bank. Great event.
That's the end of the video, man. Make sure y'all like, subscribe. The thing I want to say is, what be throwing me off with these matches, the Bloodline matches, don't get me wrong, the Bloodline story, like, into the matches, to me, it carries a lot. A lot of the matches have the same formula, like, over and over. Ref gets hit, you know, they do whatever shenanigans they do, and it's like, I'm not saying it's terrible, but it's like, damn, bro, like, every fucking match, like, really. But the story that they tell is still good. It's just like, damn, this shit is hella repetitive. But that's the end of the video, man. Make sure y'all like, subscribe. I'm out, man.